So now we get into matters
Sports tourism.
Sports tourism.
Yay.
We have Zuhura, Ogada, Odhiambo in studio. We're going to talk about boosting Kenya's visibility via sports tourism. She's wearing a nicely branded magical Kenya Open.
You're magical for sure.
Exactly. To tell us more about that.
Last year, at last year's Magical Kenya Open, we were there. We went to Muthaiga and we had a conversation about, sports tourism, but also about sports marketing in general and as a whole. And now looking at tourism itself is a big conversation to have. This year's Magical Kenya Open, when is it happening, Zuhura?
Wow, it's happening from the 19th of February to the 22nd of February.
19th to 22nd.
Next week, we're teeing off.
Very good.
Right.
And the Nation Media Group is the media partner for this year's Magical Kenya Open.
Yes.
This is part of our mission.
Yes.
To be a positive influence to society. So when you say we are partnering, we are doing this, bringing it to as many audiences as possible so they can see, so we can all get to understand the magic that Kenya is and the opportunities in golf and tourism. But Zuhura, Jano is going to welcome you quickly with the day's quote.
Nilikuwa nimeingia mambo ya golf real quick. Nilikuwa nimesahau. Briefly, so today's quote is by Dambisa Moyo, and she once said, "Governments that depend on aid answer to donors, not citizens." What are your thoughts on that?
I would say yes, because the donors are supposed to just help us facilitate. But we need to understand our citizens to know what are their challenges, what are they going through. Are they happy with what is being being given to them as a solution? So we need to hear from the citizen. The donors are just the amplifiers helping us to solve that particular situation.
Really good perspective.
It is. We'll talk about how exactly sports is funded in the country. I think that's a good place to start, because sometimes it does feel like it's dependent on well-wishers, on donors. Government, like at the moment, we do have someone trying to essentially raise funds to make it to, there's Olympics, kuna watu wanataka kwenda Winter Olympics, kuna mwingine anataka kwenda Open. Like, how do we fund sports?
How do we fund sport? And thanks for that. Of course, we've been running for many years, Kenya Open, this being our 57th edition. And of course, it comes in with funding. The understanding about funding, and so that many people then know what it takes to run a sport like maybe the Magical Kenya Open is. Of course, many people maybe might say there's a lot of money, but sometimes I say, let us match the ROI. Let's look at, if we spent this, what are we getting at the end of the day, and what's the impact around it? So yes, you can always have the opportunity of being able to fund it if you can afford it. If it's a small little marathon that is happening here, it could be. But now when it involves the international players, then it becomes a bit more expensive. Why? Because what is our big objective? Like with Magical Kenya, our big objective is, how do we showcase Kenya all over the world? And if it's all over the world, we need to be able to showcase everything that we are offering. Now, all over the world will only want to watch and see if they are looking at their best golfers playing. So for you to attract the best golfers across is to be able to give them high prize money. So as you see, government has been able and has really, really supported us in the aspect of being able to fund us. Like they will give us the 200 million for what they are giving in. And we've also seen how other partners like DP World Tour, who have given us the 700. So the 2.7 is actually the prize money. But that was to enable us have more and more players coming across. We are having a total of about 144 players coming across the world, and everybody's watching. Last year we saw how there was a whole when we did it the other time was we saw even Korea. They had never really come to Kenya. They were never following a lot of things. But the moment they saw their player being there, we saw that on our viewership across the world, they were really amazed. And after that, we saw the numbers that were coming in from Korea. So we could then spend the 200, like we'd say now, and then we can see how DP World has facilitated us, and we want to thank them for always having to chip into the prize money. But better still is we are getting over 800 million back, because this is to the tourism. The 144 players who come with their caddies, we have the international media, who are about 150, who come in to cover. They already have arrived into the country, ready to start laying cables this weekend for us to be seen all over to about 600 million eyeballs across the world. And that is where Kenya is. So you can imagine how much it would have taken us to target all those people across the world. And that's how we invest and get back the money.
Have you ever been able to track impact? I know maybe this is not directly for Magical Kenya, but for your sponsors, No, Magical Kenya Open.
Yes.
But for your sponsors, Magical Kenya,
yes.
from your conversations with them, are they able to track back and say, because of all these eyeballs generated over this week
yes.
of Magical Kenya Open,
yes.
we have then seen visitors who've come into the country and they say that their first interaction with Kenya was by watching Magical Kenya Open or by knowing that their top golfer had come to Kenya and they won in Kenya. Have they ever told us?
Yes, we have been able to track that. In fact, what happened, and even part of the sponsorship, because what the government gives and what DP World gives is prize money and sanction fees.
Right.
Other than that, there's a whole infrastructure that has to be put in place. And that is where private sector has actually played a big role. And we've seen all our sponsors who've been there. We've seen our likes of ABSA who've been there with us for years as the presenting partners. We've seen the EABL, many other sponsors that have come through. That is money for the infrastructure.
Right.
So locally, even as they come to us, what is it that they get back, which is important. But at the same time, is we are showing how much of their product is also experienced and tracked all over the world.
Right.
And you can see from every other time we have to do a report on many eyeballs because again, there are particular forecasted strategies on how we would get it, depending on client. What are you looking at? What are you looking at? We have the local customer and we have the international, depending on your brand. So then we ensure that we match your ROI on it, and we've been able to track that. The good part about it is also numbers. I know there was a time about 8 years ago where, KTB had not seen a growth of numbers in particular countries, and it was forecasted that let us get players from those countries. And that alone, of course, because when we zoom in to see what's happening here, we showcase our tourism, and everybody who's watching their player and seeing what's happening literally is shown what Kenya has got to offer and are able to drive those numbers to the destination. So we do that and are able to match that.
Let me be annoying a little bit.
Yes.
I'm sure, Zuhura, you're a brand and marketing expert.
Yes.
And I'm sure you've had these conversations when you go to the boardrooms.
Yes.
And they are asking for direct ROI. I am spending this much on marketing. Show me the results in volumes of sales. Okay?
Right.
So now show me the results.
Yes.
So much effort going into this marketing of Kenya with tourism numbers. You see, this one we have, us guys, our ROI is the number of tourists coming to Kenya.
Yes.
Year on year.
Yes.
Show me that.
So we definitely, of course, the number of tourism coming into Kenya have got many elements, but I'll talk about the Magical Kenya. Magical Kenya Open, I know we share a name in one way or the other, but that's sports tourism. Just look at how heated up we are, and even moving our wages from Magical Kenya. We are heavy now with the HSBC. That is, right on. I think it's the Valentine gift.
Sevens,
the 7th. Then we go into Magical Kenya, which is next week. Thereafter, we have WRC. And some people will say, I'm talking about the normal one, they will not understand. But the bigger part of what is it doing to the economy? And I want to take you through this roadmap. So there's what it's doing for the country, and then the people that we are, because we have over 7,000 people who attend the Magical Kenya for those days, who interact with the products that are actually showcased within the 4 days that are our sponsors. So you're out to convert them. The other thing is, look at the quality of the golfer. Again, these are people spending power. These are investors. These are people who, every other day are delivering different goods and services to our community. So again, how a better way to even understand? And we are also on the marketing database, where they even tell us they have an opportunity to showcase and talk to them at a good time to be able to say, where do they take it to the next level? But think about the player who lands. One thing that has happened, which has never happened before, is for the first time we are having players coming into the country earlier than the game. Why? Because they're just from the Qatar Open. Now, immediately they land, that means how much dollars and pounds are we living into the country for the days that they're having before. Some are headed Giraffe Center, those who are headed here and there before the game next week, because it's not logical to go to your country and come back. Then the other thing is we've got the media that have already landed, and the teams, the European Tour team, of course the DP World team, that are already on the ground before even next week. Then we have the 144 players arriving in their caddies. So we are already fully booked in most of the hotels. Ole Sereni are our hospitality partner, and they're fully booked. We have to have worked with other hotels across. Then we have Apollo Tour, picking them, you can imagine. Then we have the Uber, the transportation, onto the different people who are coming in, and the people from the regional markets as well, who are coming to watch the game, and the investors who are coming to have conversations with the other investors who are flying in, and they will be flying out now to South Africa because their open is exactly a week after us. So you can see, and that's why we've even worked a great package with Kenya Airways that is bringing in the players, and thereafter the players are also playing in SA. Again, from here it's 4 hours, and there are those who are remaining, some of them who are going to the Mara this week, and all that we are having across. Think about the Mamamboga, because sometimes it's not seen like, does it touch the Mamamboga? They are delivering into these hotels the foods. Think about our creative economy village that is, of course, amplified by our sponsors, EABL. The opportunity it has for the artists, the DJs, the creative economy, the people selling fashion, the SMEs, those who want to showcase all that. There's a lot that we are doing across that. So when you look at it on an impact perspective, somebody might not see it in a naked eye, but it's quite,
even the tour operators and
even
all
the
of them,
tour, even the tour operators and all that, it's all tied in across.
Okay. I was actually, I had a question somewhere in mind. As far as like this whole economy, it's about the packaging of it all, which is what I was thinking about earlier. And you're right, there's massive opportunities. Is there a specific, a concerted effort to create packages? Because I think we can get lazy. I could land a week before and sleep and wake up and sleep and wake up and sleep and wake up. But if there's something, an offering specific for me that's saying, you know what, you're coming to the Magical Kenya Open, you'll be playing or watching from these days, but in the evenings, we have a matatu tour of Nairobi CBD. On the weekend, the Masai Mara is... do we have such?
We do have such, and first of all, we start from the DP World Tour website for the players to book. So we put the KQ prize because they have opportunities to use other airlines, but the Pride of Africa literally brings them here to the epicenter of Africa, who is Kenya. Then second is with our partners, KTB, Kenya Tourism Board. Of course, we have tours even that are done for these players to the national park, being the only national park in the city. How about priding on that, and also the opportunities that they have. So we have a little red book that is given to the players to be able to understand what else they could do around. And with that, then there are different arrangements on how they go about it, and with the different partners and tours and travel teams, we are able to initiate that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I quite like the intentionality of it all. I'm looking at it from now a money perspective, and you talked about what we're giving, the ROI, what we're taking hopefully from the market. How do we tap into this to extend the shelf life of sports tourism and tourism as a whole, so that these are not one-time visitors. They don't have to wait for next year to come around to be back or to explore Magical Kenya.
We do that, and if you see beyond teeing off, we've got a lot of conversations on. We are now also very intentional on our ESG focus for the Kenya Open, and this is also for the bigger sustainability angle. We are out, and we've done research that we've seen a lot of players, for the first time, in fact, to let you know, this Kenya Open will have the last 5 winners of the Kenya Open who are playing again, and they're coming. All those are celebrities. So if Kenya was not really a good place, would they be back? And you can imagine all their followers across being able to be part of this and see where that is stationed. But from a sustainability standpoint, we're seeing what we are doing on the ESG, on the future, more golfers from Kenya. That is now being done from the clinics that we are having, the children's clinics that are being done for the juniors. They have the Beat the Pro, which is the pros beating the juniors and the juniors beating the pros, which also is happening on the sports development focus. Yeah. If you realize right now, even like one of our highest ranked Kenyan golfer, of course, Njoroge Kipuku, was one of the top 2022 junior golfers. And you can see right now, again, he's now also doing the different tours. He was in South Africa the other day, now playing. And that came from what are we developing? That wasn't there before. Okay. So you can see how we are on, not only to say you only hit it. And to us, it's not just here alone. How do we bring it? Like our 10 pros that we are proud of right now, we're calling them Team Kenya, who we are launching on Friday. How about giving them opportunities to play across? Right. So we are doing that on our sports development. Again, on the bigger impact is also we are seeing more and more of other markets, even regionally, coming in. We've seen what has happened onto our Sunshine Tour and the Equator Tour, and having the locals, yes, under Equator Tour and the Sunshine Tour, we've seen the regional players who have come in. So again, we're bringing in, and some of them are again playing onto the Kenya Open. So these are people who come in to play onto even beyond Kenya Open and that. But our bigger focus is driving that and being able to get more and more people growing up onto the game and demystifying golf. Right now, even in the different primary schools, last year we were at Muthaiga. This year we are supporting St. Mary's Karen. I mean, those are people who are still also our junior golfers. So it doesn't mean that it needs to be elite in the context of what we think about.
I was actually going to ask that. I was going to ask about the inclusion of making golf accessible. You know, because you have used the right word. It's often seen as elite.
Yes.
And I like what you've described. It almost sounds like it's positioning Kenya to be Africa's leading golf tourism destination. And it doesn't even sound like initially I was just like, are we overselling our readiness? But then the more Zuhura spoke, and I'm like, well, I think, we're there. So yeah, I think I was just going to ask about the inclusivity. There's a lot of people who want to play golf. They don't think it's for them. They think they'll be locked out. They think it's a clique, it's a club.
Even watching, leave alone.
Even watching. Talk a little bit more about that. How are you opening it up more, that it's trickling down to people? It doesn't matter their background or demographic. How are we just making it more inclusive?
So we're making it more inclusive, and we've seen what the work of the junior golf, what they've been doing across the country. And this is ensuring, so long as you have your sports, let me say the football, half the time when you go in, there's no grass. The children are literally running towards one yes, and so long as you have that and the good opportunities, we've been able to open it on for the community. And we're demystifying it, because in future we are hoping that and plans that had been stated before was even being able to do a big golf development in Kasarani for to attract regional to come practice, but locally as well. But now we've taken it into schools and into junior development, which now is being done even with the public schools. So we get the students from there and we work with them. Everywhere we go, and from a community perspective, this is what we're doing with the St. Mary's Karen. We've gone in, our partners Hamosa are painting the school. This is just to show you how sponsors are coming in, because your players will be accessing the grounds. We are saying we don't leave it alone. We are planting trees. We are mentoring the students. Imagine the players coming to talk to them and mentor them, and doing a lot of things. So even Nation Media, we are working together with the Nation Foundation to be able to see, are the desks that we are giving, are these the stationery? And I'm happy with the work that you're doing for the foundation as well. Now, that is for the school and the community. Then we have the universities. So we have the universities we saw last year, and we've seen Team USIU, how they're coming up on their golfing. But again, what we do is we bring in the European Tour team, who go to the schools. This year we are going to Technical University of Kenya for the sports tourism students and even the hospitality students. Knowledge exchange. Let them see what is it that's available for us now. It is not just serving in a hotel or doing this and that, but opportunities are there for events out there for sports tourism. And then we bring them on the ground and they're able to see how broadcasting is done all over, how the caddies are working, what is happening across, how the marketers, the partners, the sponsors are bringing their brands to the people, that they understand when they graduate, they're like, I'm ready to work. So we'll be a technical university in the Boma School of Hospitality as well. So that's part of the engagement that we are doing. Now, the caddies economy, over 400 casual laborers that we pay, the ones who earn $1 a day, we've taken that up to be able to create those jobs into what we are giving within the Magical Kenya. So it's so magical across. And now we've also gone on to no plastic bottles. Our players are having their bottles, their hydration partner, Coca-Cola, working with the water stations because we are heavy on going green into that. So the community is with us and we're demystifying and everybody is part of us, and even the vendors who are coming in across, who a lot of them and some of them even come from Kibera, they come from here, and the event industry. All those who are putting up the tents and that are teams that, you know.
It's very 360. Sorry to cut you short, just because we're almost out of time, and I just wanted to touch on a few things.
Yes.
And we'll talk about Team Kenya at the very end, because I'm interested in hearing, Team Kenya.
Yes.
But local tourism, how do we tap into? Because I know the dollars and the euros and the pounds are lovely.
Yes.
But I mean, our shillings can also, they can do something. They can do something.
Yes.
How is Magical Kenya tapping into local tourism? It's easy. I can see how you attract South Korea and Greece.
Yes.
Mimi?
So the local tourism is about the experience you are having. We have an amazing village. Of course, very big title. Saturday, all of you local tourism come in for Nyashinsky. We'll be having Nyashinsky on stage. A lot of opportunities. We have our best DJs, our best artists that, you know, will be running. And you can come in. You can come, sit in, have a good time with your friends, follow a player. Friday, you'll be seeing as we let the Kenyans out. I want Kenyans to be able to pick up on their different pros and go before them and say, you know what, we're supporting you all the way. Yes. How are we? Because if you're looking at the pros, we have good stories, even like from Edwin, who's one of our top amateur. I mean, you can imagine from Caddy to pro.
Play. That's amazing.
Look at those stories, and we have
Team Kenya.
Yes, he's on Team Kenya. We have them who are caddies and to that. So you can imagine that life change, and everybody who looks up to them, and even just the other caddies seeing that they can be able to be part of it. So there's a lot of offering. Please come to the village, come eat, come sit with friends, come enjoy the music, come see what you have to see. And we also have the celebrity prom that will be on the Tuesday. Okay. So come there and show us if you can be able to, you know, play the game.
Amazing. That's all the time we have, but thank you so much for just painting that very comprehensive picture for us. And we're looking forward to it. It sounds exciting. Zuhura Ogada Odhiambo has been with us talking about Magical Kenya Open. In the next hour, the impact of funding cuts on Kenya's health sector. We'll be in conversation with David Koya, who's a health economist from the University of Nairobi. It's 9 a.m. We'll be back in just a moment.